All right, g'day everyone. Welcome back to the Snake Catchers podcast. I'm Brett and I'm here, of course, with Dan, as always. We're continuing our time up in Darwin with another episode, and today we are with Greg Mayo, former zookeeper, snake catcher, animal keeper. Yeah, you've done it all. So thanks for coming on.
No worries at all, Brett.
And yeah, we've got a very nice backdrop for this episode. We've got your lovely big billabong in the backyard here. There's turtles swimming around in there, and there's a Mertens water monitor back there somewhere. So yeah, kingfishers just flying past as well. So yeah, lovely background. Probably the nicest background we've had so far for an episode. So no, again, thank you for inviting us up and having a chat. So for those that don't know you, if you just want to give a bit of an introduction to yourself,
Sure.
and yeah, we'll kick it off from there.
Okay, yep. I basically started as a zookeeper at Hillsville Sanctuary over 40 years ago, 1979, and I've pretty much been a zookeeper my whole life. So I did probably 16 years at Hillsville Sanctuary in a couple of stints.
Wow.
And I've done short stints. I used to work there was a little place which is closed down now called Monbulk Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
They had quite a few reptiles and different animals there as well. And then I came up to Territory Wildlife Park in 99 and pretty much was up here until I retired.
Yeah, okay.
So mainly birds, but reptiles, and in different areas at different times I've done koalas, platypus, mostly native animals, a little bit on big cats, but generally native animals in a big thing. And on top of that, I've had reptiles since I was 4 years old and birds since I was 10.
Yeah.
So it's nearly 60 years with reptiles and
wow.
and not much short of that for birds. So
yeah, nice. So you've got a nice broad range of animals that you've worked with over your time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So when you started at Hillsville, what year did you start, and how old were you when you started that journey?
It was just before my 16th birthday.
Yeah, okay.
And 1979.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was when the park opened, was it?
No. Hillsville's quite an old park. It's been there for many years before then.
Yeah, okay.
Back in those days, though, some things were really primitive compared to zookeeping of today.
Yeah, I can imagine it's advanced a long way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
An example is we had 2 cassowary there.
Yep.
And these days you have safety lockouts because cassowaries, as you know, are potentially dangerous animals. So you would be able to close them out while you went in to feed and service them. Well, back then it was a tub of fruit and it was over the fence in the mud, which for a cassowary probably doesn't make a great deal of issues because they feed on the fallen fruit in the mud anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, I think I mentioned to you yesterday, I worked at Gorge Wildlife Park, and we had plenty of cassowaries there that I worked with over the time as well. And
yes, but you've got to be very careful.
Like we say, we work with venomous snakes and stuff like that, but I wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of a cassowary, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, they'd definitely mess you up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and 16 years at Hillsville, that's anyone in the zookeeping industry would consider that a decent career.
Yes.
As a zookeeper.
Yep.
And like you said, the advancements that would have been made over that time as well, just in zookeeping terms, would have been huge.
I mean, environmental enrichment is one of those things that back then it was just really not even considered.
Not a thing, was it?
Whereas now it's very important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And again, it would have been, good to be part of that journey for so long, for such a iconic park, I suppose.
Exactly.
As well. And they're obviously still going today.
Yes.
So, yeah. And then coming up to the Territory, was there, did you have the job, get the job at Territory Wildlife Park to move up here, or did you move up here and then get the job?
Yep, no, I won a job. I'd never been to the Territory before.
Oh, wow, okay.
So I said to my wife at the time, I said, here we go. What do you reckon? And she didn't even question. She said, yep, let's do it. Just to do something completely. We had a house in there. I had 40-odd aviaries there. I had lots of birds. So it was a lot of logistics to farm them out so that I could come rent the house out. We said, we'll go for a year and then we'll just see whether we really like it up here.
Yeah.
And, so we did the year. When we went back to Hillsville, I had to do 5 months to get my long service leave.
Yeah.
Which they were happy to. I had to take whatever annual leave I had and some time off without pay. So Territory Wildlife Park were really keen to keep me.
Yeah.
And which was flattering, And so I went back there for the 5 months and then moved back up here. And we probably did another couple of years up here. And then my wife decided that she wanted to move back down south.
Yeah.
So she went, and
you stayed.
I stayed. The kids were going to stay. We'll stay. One of us will stay with you for a while. Dad, I said, you do what you need to do.
Yeah.
What I found was actually made a lot better because when we do catch up, when they come here, it was like 4 or 5 days, and we have 24 hours a day pretty much with them, you know.
Just-
so it's
and
much
you
better
just-
quality time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you live just around the corner from your
You don't see
family,
each other.
well, you zip around and have a tea one night.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got to go back and feed the animals. You
Yeah.
know, so everything's cut short. Well,
Yeah.
when I go to Melbourne, I don't have all this to look after, so I actually spend a lot more
time.
quality time with my kids and my grandkids now too. So.
Yeah. And
So-
yeah,
Yeah.
the more time you can have with them, the better. isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And like you said, if they were still living here, it'd be hi, just come to get something, and then I'm off again.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would have been sort of early days of Territory Wildlife Park as well, was it? Or
It was probably just getting to the point. Territory Wildlife Park, it must be nearly 40 years that it's been open.
Yeah,
now.
okay,
It's
yep.
pretty close off the top of my head. When it was first built, it was probably built just a little bit early because zoos now have moved to more bioclimatic zones rather than taxonomic groupings of animals.
yeah,
So when it was built, there was aviaries.
Yeah.
So there was a walkway of 13 aviaries finishing in the big walk through aviary. You've been to the wildlife park, have you?
we haven't been up this time, but I have.
But
been,
you've seen it before,
Yeah.
yeah. So they've got the big walk through aviary at the end and a series of walk past aviaries to get down to it. So it was built for birds.
Yeah.
There was a reptile house,
Yes.
right? There was a nocturnal house which had mixed species a little bit, but primarily things were based taxonomically.
Mm. Yeah.
So when I first started up here in '99, they were just starting to talk about maybe we need to start changing some things around and move to where zoos are probably heading with more habitat based or climatic based things. So the bird aviaries, what we decided, we turned it into the monsoon forest.
Nice.
So the habitat was already there.
Yeah.
So then we introduced things like fruit bats, a few reptiles as well. And we tried to, as much as we were still working with aviaries, so it was pretty hard to do it. Our Mertens water monitors we put in there. We tried to diversify it as much as we could.
Yeah.
To make it more based on the monsoon forest rather than a taxonomic grouping of birds.
Yeah.
Just an animal.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's unfortunately up here, Territory Wildlife Park doesn't get millions of visitors like some of the bigger zoos.
Mm.
So they're very caught between a rock and a hard place by they don't want to spend a lot of money. The government up here is struggling financially anyway. So it doesn't get perhaps, they're certainly working, but it's generally a small project that happens rather than sort of a major exhibit.
Yeah.
And I've working for as long as the zoos as I have, generally a zoo I reckon needs a major exhibit every 2 or 3 years and then some minor upgrades most years.
Yeah.
And that tends to keep bringing the regular customers back.
In.
Right, it gives them something else to see.
Yeah.
They still enjoy their day looking around everything else.
There's another draw card for them, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And particularly up here, as a lot of our visitation in the dry season would be grey nomads or travellers getting out of the cold down south.
Yeah.
Now, they probably talk in the caravan parks and say, well, hang on, is there anything new at the wildlife park? And some of them can say, no, it's just out there. It's much the same as last year. Well, then they would make a financial decision not necessarily to go that year.
Yeah.
So they could attract a lot more people by adding that. Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And then there's also the added thing of, Crocosaurus Cove opening too. So there's now more attractions that provide this animal experience.
Yeah.
So that number of people is just going to be split more and more. They're probably not likely to go to all the different attractions.
Yeah,
So,
that's it. And that's where I worked when I was living up
That's
here.
right,
That's how
yes.
I met Tom and Charlotte.
Yes.
Of course. And like being right there in the city, people coming off the cruise ships, if they want to see a crocodile, they just go there rather than driving 45 minutes out of town. Basically, they've got a couple of hours.
They haven't got enough time to do it. So it certainly is much better for that, yes.
Yeah. And I suppose with Territory's location in Berry Springs as well, it's just that little bit, it's not far, but it's just that little bit further
absolutely.
out. Yeah.
Yep.
And again,
and there's no public transport.
no, that's
there
the
are a few
hard
tours
part.
over the years have been doing it, but it got to the point where they weren't travelling enough people.
Getting the numbers.
So they all stopped. So there's you actually have to be self-drive to get out there.
Yeah.
Unless something's changed in the last couple of years when I haven't been there. But
Yeah, I don't think it has. I think it's all just self-drive. And again, it's not far, but it's just further out than the other ones.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, again, you got a day or so, you'd go to the closer one, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
So,
Yep.
yeah. No, I can see where you're coming from with.
It's a different type of display.
Yeah.
It's you're on the train, you're out in the bush, whereas the Cove is pretty much it's a building.
You're there, you're going to see what
Exactly.
you want to see.
Exactly. But that probably suits a lot of people anyway.
Yeah, and again, like I said, for the people that just have an hour or so off a
It's
cruise
time
ship,
thing. Yes.
we want to see a crocodile. That's what the Territory is known for.
Yes.
You can just go there and see one.
Absolutely.
And again, if you can't see one there's something wrong.
You would think so, yes. Yes.
Yeah. No, again, what a journey that it would have been for you at the Territory Wildlife Park and sort of being involved in that sort of changing of things in the early days as well. That would have been, very rewarding.
Oh, it's absolutely. It was a great place to work and I felt I contributed, and I think they appreciated what I contributed. So, that's, if you can walk away from a workplace and that it works both ways, then it's a good thing.
Yeah, no, fantastic,
So,
fantastic. And what year did you finish up there?
2019.
Yeah, okay, so not that long ago.
No.
When you think about it, and then you've just been obviously doing your own thing.
Yes.
Since then.
I don't know how I've had time to go to work, actually.
it gets a bit like that, doesn't it? With that, yeah. It gets.
You pick on other things, and when you work, you've got your days off.
Yeah.
And you say, right, I'm going to do this on my day off, and it never gets done.
Yeah.
And what you say is, oh, now I've got to wait another week till I get my next day off.
Yeah.
Whereas how I work now, so if I don't get it one day, it's okay, I can do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's the only benefit of being semi-retired.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you can still do the things, but you can do it at your own pace.
Exactly.
Yeah. And obviously, by the sounds of it, and from what I've heard from other people, you absolutely love doing it anyway. So it wouldn't feel like work, I suppose.
That's absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a commitment. It's always the logistics of me being able to go away and see my kids or my grandkids is always hard because there is so much. I can't just get one person to come and do it.
Yeah.
Simon's been amazing because he's like a 20-year younger clone of me. Okay. He can do the building. He can do the birds. He can do the reptiles. He can do everything.
Yeah.
It's like I walk away and I know everything's going to be fine.
Yeah, it's what you want.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but when I was sort of laid up with an ankle, I had to get, Simon to do the rats and mice, a couple of people to do the birds, someone else to do reptiles. So all of a sudden it becomes this logistic, which I manage it and do it all myself.
Yeah.
Because that's what I do.
Yeah.
But even the food prep, it takes me 2 hours of a night to do the food prep. That's just for the birds.
Yeah.
So all the benches inside are covered in bowls. And the list is like 6 pages when I'm trying to write it all down for someone to do. But and I explain to them is the reality is I didn't walk in to have all this many bowls to do. I've started with this many and I've added something else that it's much easier for me because I'm just adding an extra few bowls each time.
Bit by bit.
Whereas you see it, we take photos of it and you're going, oh my God,
how am I going to do this?
How daunting is that, But anyway. Simon is an absolute legend.
That's good. That's good. It's always good to have people that you can rely on.
Absolutely.
Particularly when you go away, like we have back home at the moment.
Things back home for you guys too.
Yeah, we're all animal people, mainly reptiles. So
yep.
Again, it's just good to have those people that can look after everything. So you just peace of mind.
That's the exact right word. Peace of mind.
Yes. Yeah, and you can get away and enjoy stuff like this.
Yeah.
So we'll go on to the snake catching now. Very different up here compared to down south. It's all contracted up here. Well, it was contracted up here.
Yes.
So when did you sort of start doing snake catching up here?
I was trying to think back. I did it from about 2017 to early 2020, I believe.
Yeah, okay.
It was about 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I was still working full-time at the time.
Oh, okay.
And how Parks and Wildlife ran it back then is the rangers did it during business hours.
Yep.
Right? And then they would have individual contractors like me, and there was a couple of others who were deemed suitable.
Yep.
And then they would bring the car out here at 4:30 on Friday afternoon.
Yep.
And hide the keys on top of the tyre. Right. I would come home. They'd leave the phone in the car. It'd be diverted to their phone. So until I got home.
Yep.
Once I got home, I undiverted the phone and I was on call till I went to work on Monday morning.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Okay. So we got paid a set amount for that, whether it was one call out or whether it was 20 call outs for the weekend.
It was the same.
So
it was the same rate. It was just a flat rate.
Yeah.
Now, if I remember rightly, there was a day rate, and then there was, which covered roughly the 8 hours.
Yeah.
And then there was an after hours rate, which basically went for the whole night and morning back to that block in the middle of the day. So you got Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. So you end up with five shifts over the full weekend.
Yeah.
So and as I said, and then I would leave the car out the front.
Yeah.
At 6:30 when I headed to work. And I would divert the phone. So one of the rangers, at least, not that you probably get a lot of call outs here early in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't know how different it is in other states. You probably would be much the same.
Yeah.
Sort of people are not outside bumping into them anyway. In the colder weather, they're not going to be out anyway, I guess, are they?
Yeah, not really.
Yeah.
Depending on what the weather situation changes so much. But
Adelaide's weather's always up and down.
It can be weird sometimes. You get something that's called out the night before or something like that, and they might come across it early morning, but generally
not, unless it's been, a relatively warm night. They might still be moving around.
Yep.
So we typically have 5-6 months of the year down south where we're catching.
Yep.
We do get nighttime calls, but mainly when it's been a stinking hot day.
Yes.
They come out at
Something
night for a
still
bit of
do.
relief.
Yeah.
I can imagine up here over sort of certain times it would mainly be night calls, would it?
Listen, I don't listen. It certainly varies a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much
Just any
12
time.
months of the year. It's all pretty much the same.
Yeah.
So in our cooler times, it's often the python's out seeking mates.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably not feeding because it's just that little bit cooler, 12, 13 degrees at night, but that's their breeding time. So they're wandering around for that reason.
Yeah.
And of course, during the warmer time, we probably don't get so much during the day as you would because it's so hot.
Yeah.
So golden tree snakes and then an occasional northern brown snake.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So during occasionally somebody's rolling logs and they found a snake, so you get a call out for that.
Yeah.
But it's amazing I've got a few funny stories to tell you about doing the snake call out over the 3 years. But I'll start off by saying is everybody thinks they've got a taipan or a king brown in their yard.
Yep. Yep.
You're going to say that down south, and they're not even found there. Let's be serious.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. At least they're found up here.
Yes, exactly.
Anything over a metre is a king brown.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we're not alone. But the thing is, with king browns, is when I first moved into this house 24 years ago, I did have a king brown in the outside bathroom. Right.
And that was pre-toad.
That's
wasn't it?
pre-toad,
Yes.
absolutely. But since then, for the 3 years I did the snake call out, I can categorically say all but one was not a king brown.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one king brown, well, I didn't see it, but what happened is I got a call, this lady over in Girrawee, not far from here, and I went round there and her dog had been bitten by something and was at the vet's.
Yeah.
Okay. And so she said, could you mind coming around and having a look if you can find the snake, because the vet wants to know what sort of snake it was.
Yeah.
And she did see it go under the house, but it was a ranch-style house with big verandas like this, and it was all about this high.
Yeah.
So I wasn't crawling in there, but I walked all the way around. If I knew what I could target it, I probably would have, but just not for, if it was a big king
What it
brown,
potentially
you
could
don't
have
want to
been.
be in that
Yeah.
situation. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing snake call, the longer you do it, the smarter you are. I think you know what your limitations and what the snake's potential to do. Anyway, so I looked around. I was there for probably nearly 45 minutes or something, and the phone rang. It was because it was a snake call-out number, and I answered. Oh, this is Howard Springs Vet Surgery here. I said, oh, okay. She said, oh, we've just had a dog presented here for snake bite.
Yeah.
And she did the test, and it came out as brown snake. So she gave it the brown snake anti-venom, but it wasn't responding. Yeah. And apparently, I don't know much about it, but apparently they respond fairly quickly once the anti-venom's been given to them, but it wasn't. And I said to her, listen, I'm actually at the property. It was a Doberman. She said, yeah. And I said, well, I'm actually at the property now looking to see if I can find the snake. But I said, talking to the owner, the dog had grabbed this snake that was as thick as a tennis ball. Now, that's not a northern brown snake.
No.
So I said to her, based on if it is a venomous snake, I said it's a king brown. There's all our other snakes, you don't get the size of the king brown.
No.
Yeah. So, she said, well, that makes sense then, because then she could give it black snake anti-venom.
Yeah.
The dog, the lady rang me the next morning and say, listen, the dog did die, but thank you for spending all the time helping it out. But yeah, and then what happened is, I reckon it was the weekend after I did it, one of the other snake call-outs got a call to 3 or 4 doors up, and they got a king brown. So we're assuming that's what it was.
Yeah, potentially the same animal.
Exactly.
Yeah,
because they're virtually so rare, as everyone thinks there's one there, and I keep saying since cane toads have got here, they're almost extinct. The theory is that there may be a few king browns, and you guys might know this, that may select to eat warm-blooded prey rather than cold-blooded prey. And it just depends whether that selection is gene-based and whether they actually pass those genes on, which would give a potential for king browns to make some sort of a comeback.
Yeah.
And people say, oh, it's good the king browns aren't here. I said, hang on, you're a little bit quick with that. You know what king browns mainly eat? Northern brown snakes.
Yeah.
So that means they're more common. I said, yeah. So you're not going to win either way.
Yeah, exactly right.
But I had this gentleman in Palmerston ring me up, and he said, I've got a king brown. I said, okay. I don't argue with him on the phone, but anyway, I turn up, and he's got a valve box. You know those little green lidded valve boxes in the ground where you got to turn things off and on?
Yeah.
Right? And he said, I went down there, like the hole's like this. Going, okay. All right. So I've got all the gear there with a hook. I'm lifting it up. Right? It was one of those night skinks. And I thought, I said, you sure it wasn't a night skink? Oh, no, it was a king brown, definitely a king brown. I said, okay, so there's a couple of leaves in the bottom. There's nothing else in there.
Yeah.
Okay. And I said, how big was this king brown? He said, this big. I said, okay, mate. I said, king browns, when they hatch, are actually this big. So I said, it wasn't a king brown. So, yes, funny stories.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure you've got plenty more of them.
Yeah.
But back onto the king browns for a sec.
Yes.
I lived up here for a year.
Yes.
I only saw one live specimen.
Right. Okay.
That was out in Kakadu.
Yes.
It was about 2.5 meters long. It was a big animal.
Absolutely.
But one live
And
specimen.
that was before cane toads too.
No, that was only a few years ago.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Because the reality is that snake has come across cane toads.
Absolutely.
There's no way it's
would
missed
have been living with cane toads, potentially most of its life.
Yes.
Speaking to the rangers out there as well, they say that the numbers out there actually aren't too bad of the king browns because they stick to the escarpments.
Okay.
And not so much the open
toads
country.
Are not getting up in the escarpments as easily. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
They said the coastals are pretty well gone from the area, unfortunately.
As in coastal taipans or coastal versions of the king
coastal
brown?
taipan.
Coastal taipans.
Yeah.
Right. Did you ever see a taipan when you were up here?
Not up here, no.
Neither have I. 25 years, I've never seen a taipan.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I think it's just very different. I think what we need sugarcane farms, right? So there's more rats, and then we'll probably get a bigger increase in taipan numbers up here.
Like North Queensland, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the only place I've seen a taipan. North Queensland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
people's views on snakes up here, I'm assuming they're probably very similar to most of the country. Over your time as a snake catcher, do you feel like that changed at all, or?
Listen, I think it's hard to measure.
Yeah.
Well, I hope so, because part of what we do is we provide education. If I go to Tiwi, which has more carpet snakes than anywhere else in the territory, right? You try and explain to the people, these snakes, they live here all the time. I've been here 10 years, I've never seen one. I said, they're here all the time. There's more snakes there's more carpet snakes, particularly in Tiwi, than anywhere else, I reckon. I've had that many call-outs, right?
Yeah.
I said, they're secretive. I said, there's no fires.
Yeah.
Okay. They probably live in the roofs of these old houses. They're not as sealed up as probably a new house is today.
Yeah.
They wander out overnight. They go along the top of the fences, or they poise over the top of the fences. That's where the rats use the runway.
Yeah.
There's lots of rats in town.
Yeah.
There's plenty of food. There's protection. There's no fires. They thrive in here.
Yeah.
So, and I take this snake out, and there's a good chance another one's just going to move in because that territory is then going to be vacated for this burgeoning population of carpet snakes for one to find somewhere else to live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know what? You would get some people that would say, okay, long as it's outside, that's fine.
Yeah.
But they just didn't want them in the house. And I said, that's fine. I'll take it out of the house and we'll let it go in your garden. So, and you know what? Some people would. Some people just have this fear of snakes and they just don't want anything to do with it. And it's irrational. Yeah. Absolutely. So.
Yeah. Yeah. You're brought up with that fear.
Exactly.
Like your grandparents pass it on to the parents, pass it on to you.
Yep.
And it's pretty well always snakes are bad. Stay away from them. They'll, try and attack you or all this sort of stuff.
Yes.
But yeah, and that's again what we sort of do as well through our stuff back down south is just that education side of things, trying to change that mentality.
You do the best you can. You know what? If one person in 10 actually, okay, maybe that's you've
done your job.
You win it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we go with too.
Yep.
Just, you spend as much time catching the snake as you do, well, most of the time, like talking to them after.
Absolutely.
And just going through, especially when they're really worked up about it.
Yes.
And if it's a plastid-ish sort of snake, you'll just, take maybe a few extra 30 extra seconds to get it in the bag.
Just to show them.
Yes.
Like what they're actually like.
Yep.
When they're not got the shit scared out of them.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the thing, like when someone sees a snake, it's a surprise for both the snake and the person that neither of them are expecting to see each other.
Yes.
And it's just a, holy shit, what's going on here?
True.
And from the snake's point of view as well,
Yep.
holy shit, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And then you both go your separate ways.
And as long as that happens, there's no harm done.
Yeah.
You carry on. But
I guess and when we rock up, like you were about to say, but when we rock up, you're looking for one, so you're expecting to see a snake too. So
yes.
I mean, if I was doing something completely off subject and saw a snake, I wouldn't be scared. I'd just be like, oh shit.
You lift a bit of iron and something comes out, even though that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You still get a bit of
and
it's respect.
And it's just that sort of that motion of if you're close to it and you do that snake, like you said, the snake just goes, oh shit. And
the snake's going to react as well, as they do.
That's exactly right.
It depends how cornered it is or how threatened it feels too.
Yeah.
It is simple. Like snake behaviour is fairly simple.
True.
But it's hard to explain to people sometimes. It's just hard to get through to some.
Yeah.
Like you said, as long as you can get through 1 in 10, then that's
a bonus.
If someone listens,
exactly.
It's a win.
It means you're not just removing the snake. You're trying to make some value to the people as well.
And I generally find most people are pretty good. Well, down where we are anyway.
Yeah.
Like most people understand, especially if you can explain it to them. And I guess they've got that little bit of knowledge, I guess, if they decide to ring you anyway. Normally people that aren't going to be as nice still probably aren't going to ring you, I guess.
Get the spade out.
There is the odd one where you rock up and they've got a shovel there ready and you're like, You just got to
The reason you're there so you don't have to use a spade and run the risk of getting bitten.
exactly right, and you explain that to them too.
Yeah.
And
So some people though, you really struggle. I had this one lady in the back of Palmerston rang. I've got a snake in the toilet in a house. I said, okay, get a towel, jam it under the toilet door, right, and just leave it. And I said, and I'll come and sort it out. No idea what it was. Anyway, I get there and she's waiting out the front of the house, and she said, oh yes, just going through the door there and gradually right's the toilet. So I come there and there's a towel under the door, like I said, right. So I've opened this door, but there was this smell, and it wasn't a normal toilet smell. Okay, it was fly spray. Right. So what I find is a hatchling golden tree snake that was actually been killed by the spray. I said, what did you put the spray in? Oh, I just wanted to make sure it was there when you came back. So I did the towel under the door, and then I used a whole can of Peebo in through the window. So you can see my issue with some people. Right? You think this person you just can't teach you anyway. So as I'm picked up the dead snake and headed out, I said, it's totally harmless. I said, they're in your garden all the time. Yeah. You probably see 1 in 20 that moves through your garden. They're very secretive and they're very fast. Yeah. Right? I occasionally see one here, and that's great for me. But there's probably 10 that come past me I don't see, and I even know what I'm looking for. Anyway, so I'm trying to get in the car, and she said, but Howard Springs, which is where you're staying at the moment, is it?
Yes.
Howard Springs area. King Browns. He said she's their rife out there. I said, oh, that's interesting. I said, I've been doing this for about 2 years. I said, I haven't caught a King Brown. Haven't even seen one. I said, since cane toad turns up there, no, Howard Springs, that's where they all are. Okay.
They know that.
So I thought I'll say, so how do you know they're King Browns? Oh, I know the snake expert that told me they're King Browns. Okay, all right. Anyway, so I left it at that. I'm in the car. I've got the engine going. I'm driving it. She's still talking at me through the window. There she goes. Anyway, she's talking. I'm sort of half listening, and she says, the King Browns are the most dangerous hupper until I heard about the black whip snake. So my ears pricked up. I ran the window. What did you hear about the black whip snake? It's not the bite you got to worry about. It's the sting on the tail. I'm going, wow. Okay. So rather than educate her, I said, who told you about this? The same snake expert that identified the King Browns? She said, yeah. I said, well, they're wrong.
Yeah,
there is no sting on a black whip's tail. They are mildly venomous, and a big specimen could possibly cause local pain. I don't know off the top of my head whether there's ever been a fatality, but I don't think so.
I'm not sure, no.
You don't think so either? So I'm thinking, I just wanted to wind the window up with this woman's head in it. I mean, I'm not a violent person, but she really got me that day. She'd killed a harmless snake, and then she's talking to an expert that had nothing right.
So, I've had that one experience with fly spray. That might have been not what season just gone, the season before. His little hatchling brown. Right. Rocked up there, and it was actually at a retirement home, and the head maintenance guy walked me around to where it was. Yes. And I saw this snake for one. I lifted the bin out, and it was under the bin, and it was rolling around, carrying on. Yes. Something's going on there. And I talked to them, and then they said they sprayed fly spray out. I
thought they'd subdue it or something.
And before I could have not have it go, but just say, why'd you do that? The maintenance dude actually got stuck into it.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't have to say much. That snake survived.
Wow. Okay.
I'm not sure how much. They got enough on it for it to carry on, but I took it home, gave it a soak,
try to get some of the toxins
washed it up, gave it a little bit of time, let it warm up a bit, and it seemed to be fine. So I could release that. But that's a good, but bloody fly spray. It's neurotoxic, isn't it? Fly spray?
I'm not. It's a residual. Some of them are residuals, so the flies get on them and it actually keeps working. Yeah. Okay. So it's a residual insecticide. Yeah. So the reality is a small snake. I mean, the bigger the animal, the less effect it would have on it. Yeah. But something small, it's potentially toxic. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So yes. One other one I've got to tell you. A real busy night. So what we do is I'll always say to people, listen, just keep a safe distance from where the snake is, and just try and keep an eye on it. I'll ring you when I'm on my way to your place to make sure it's still there. Yep. And I'll come and sort it anyway. Yeah. So I did whatever call I was at, and I rang those people back, and I said, listen, just it's Greg Mayo, just touching base whether you still got the snake under sight. She said, yep, we're watching it. I said, okay. So I get around there, and I get out, and as soon as I saw it, I'm thinking, the rubber snake. They'd sat there for nearly an hour watching this rubber snake. They were so embarrassed. I said, it doesn't matter. You played it safe, you try and alleviate their things. Yeah. I don't know whether someone was playing a joke from over the neighbours or something, but there was a rubber snake. So anyway.
Yeah, we get a few of those as well.
Oh, okay.
Rubber snakes, yeah.
What would have been a busy night call out was?
Oh, listen, I reckon probably the busiest one might have been because I'd come home after each call out and try to get to sleep. Yeah. And they had this ringtone that I knew so well after 3 years. I was in a restaurant once and a phone rang in a neighbouring table at the same ring, and I'm going, something. So listen, probably about 4.
Okay.
Which was generally a busy night.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you can go all day on a weekend and get nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's similar to us too. Like, you'll get nothing for like a day or two potentially, and then you'll get 4 call outs in 15 minutes or something like that.
So the weather, there's been a shower, something.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're scrambling. Like, you go from nothing, you're doing other things, and bang, you're like,
And do you guys sort of, if you've got busy, do you sort of call each other in at different times?
Yeah. Like, we got an area like where, do you know SA very well?
Not very well, no.
Well, the region, I'm in the Barossa Valley, the wine region there.
Yes.
And then Brett's like, 45 minutes into the hill?
45 minutes on the sort of northern side of the Adelaide Hills.
Oh, right,
which borders the Barossa, basically. So we're not too far from each other.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got like halfway between us. There's like a bigger, like Gawler. Like it's a big, like regional, big regional town.
Yeah.
Right, yes.
That I don't particularly like doing.
Okay.
So, and Brett's a little bit closer, so he'll do that. And typically the end, like the other end of where, like the furthest from me sort of thing.
Yes.
And he'll cover that, and then I'll just cover my end, and we
Okay.
just sort of rotate. And then if one of us is somewhere else, we just sort of let each other know and go with that. And I've just trained one more person to help me because I've been doing it for a few years by myself.
Nice to have a bit of a weight.
Yeah, with a couple of young kids too. It makes it, it's always dinner time or bath time or something. You feel a bit like a prick.
Absolutely.
I mean, you feel like the wife says she understands, but at the same time, like, so it's good to have a bit of help now anyway.
Yep.
But
Do you guys old enough to remember the Crystal Brook Caravan Park?
I know the place.
Yeah.
Sorry, Wildlife Park. Crystal Brook Wildlife Park.
I've heard of it.
There was I went there, well, I guess I was only probably young, maybe mid-20s.
Yeah.
Right, so it's a long time ago. And there was a guy there who had, he must have got snakes, particularly eastern browns from that area.
Yeah.
Right, and he had like 100 or something there that he was milking.
Yeah, right.
Right? I can't think of his name, but he'd been a snake showman.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yep.
But he had this great story. And each of the eastern browns had different scale clippings, so he knew each one was individually marked. They would be fed, they would be milked. He would rotate them around. He obviously had a pretty good system to do it.
Yeah.
But he had this story, and he was very colourful of how he delivered the stories too. And he said, we talked about, because a lot of farmers obviously come to that Crystal Brook area.
Yeah.
Right. And he said, if you kill that eastern brown snake in your farm, yes, you think you've saved it. But that one eastern brown, right, potentially could have, I forget the exact numbers, maybe 25 mice, right, in a season. Now, if those 25 mice were allowed to breed, that potentially could be this many mice. And if this many mice ate 1 gram of wheat per day, which is quite reasonable, the reality is by killing that snake, you've just actually lost 6 ton of wheat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just the way he did it. It was just really colourful how he delivered it, and it just made a lot of sense. And it stuck in my mind for 40 plus years. So.
Yeah. And that's the reality side of it that people don't see either.
Yes.
You're better off having the snake around because they'll take care of the pests that we've brought in and provide food for.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And if you're running crops, it potentially has a benefit to your crops as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're going to save money in the long term by having, 1, 2, however many eastern browns on your property, just taking care of the mice.
You don't have a suitable habitat close to the house.
Yeah.
You make sure that, it's cleaned up around the house, so there's nowhere really suitable for the snake to live. And the rest is, once it gets out in the paddocks, it should be able to do the roadside verges and everything, habitat that they can live on, and then just feed on the mice from there.
There was a comment in a Facebook group that I saw. There was a fantastic comment a while back. Yeah. Someone put up a photo of an eastern brown. He said, "Don't need an ID, just showing the big fella that lives out on the farm." And they accept
obviously as a member of the family.
Obviously people will go, "Oh, why don't you kill it, get rid of it, all this sort of stuff." And like he commented back, he's like, "Why would I do that? I top up his water bowl and he takes care of my mice problem."
Exactly.
And it was just perfect how he said it as well. It's like, why can't people just have that mentality?
Well, he's obviously a new age farmer because that's the difference, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
It's hard to teach an old farmer new tricks, but some of the new ones do look a bit wider than in the facts of things, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's fantastic to see as well. Again, particularly for farmers where, snake catchers might not be accessible.
Sure.
And, people just take it upon themselves to think they're taking care of a problem. Yeah. Whereas in reality, it's, just leave it there.
Especially when, sorry to cut you off, but especially when they, taking one out that's been there for a while and it's used to movement, routine. They pick up routine, so they know potentially when you're coming around every day, no more often than not, get out of your way,
Sure.
or that sort of thing. You take that out, and that snake's obviously gotten used to humans being around to an extent.
Yep.
You obviously get rid of that snake, don't get rid of the food source, a new one's going to come in anyway.
Yes.
And then that one might not be so accommodating to,
absolutely.
more like won't know your routine, more chance you're going to potentially come across
Startle it or
startle it and it get a bit shitty with you. So,
yeah. And we harp on about this all the time. It's like we provide everything they need.
Yes.
Like shelter, water, food.
Absolutely.
Like we provide that for them. And like you just said, nice clean homestead. They're not going to come in, keep water inside for pets or anything like that, or away from the house.
Yep.
And they'll just, take care of themselves.
There's no reason for them to actually be at the house.
No.
If you haven't got the rubbish lying around, the mice are not necessarily going to be right at the house either.
Yeah.
So if the food's not there, there's nowhere for them to shelter. They're going to be further out. So.
And just, be aware. Like, yes, they are here. Keep your eyes open.
Be aware.
Be aware. You don't have to be scared or anything.
No.
It's just respect the fact that they're there and that they have their place in the world like anything.
Yeah.
It's just, again, that we've provided them with all these things and particularly eastern brown snakes thrive in an urban environment. So.
And the farmland.
Yeah, and the farmland.
When it was all woodland, they would have been there, but certainly not in the numbers.
Not in the numbers, no, definitely
by primarily grassland in farmed areas.
Yeah,
so.
The funniest thing I hear is when you go to a call out in a housing estate, like for a brown snake, and you catch it, and they're like, "Oh, we shouldn't have snakes here. We're in a housing estate." I'm like, well, one, do you realise what it was before it was a housing estate? And two, bring in houses, which brings in people, which brings in rodents. So you have a very feasible route and probably more of a chance finding a snake there than going out to the scrub and trying to find one. So
we've done it to ourselves.
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly,
We've provided them with this buffet essentially of food, and again, eastern browns do very well in that.
Yes.
Is it the same with the northern browns up here? Do they sort of thrive more in the urban areas?
We certainly get quite a few call-outs in the Palmerston area because Palmerston's built on a hill. It's sort of a rocky ridge.
Yeah.
So it's probably would have been historically a good habitat for them. Cane toads have got rid of the king brown, so their major predator is now probably gone.
Yeah.
And the thing is with identification too, I was told once by someone that there's actually 16 documented colour phases that live in Palmerston. Northern brown snakes. So it's such a. I mean, you get it even your eastern browns, particularly the young ones. There's a lot of variation, isn't there?
Yeah.
Banded, hooded. It's like there's
it's all sorts.
But, 16 just in the Palmerston areas.
That's what I've been told. So I've seen a couple that were bright orange.
Yep.
So they just really stand out.
Yeah.
So
Wow. So we'll go on a bit about sort of species that you catch up here. So SA, we're 95% brown snakes and red bellies.
Yes. Okay.
Not much variation from that. You might get a little whip snake every now and then, but that's about it.
So no carpets? You don't get the Murray-Darling carpets?
Not where we are.
I'm about 45 minutes from where they start finding
Right,
it.
okay.
I've had the odd call out. So where I'm in the Barossa, go up to Blanchetown, which is the closest town on the Murray.
Yes.
They do get them there.
Okay.
And I have had a couple call outs that both didn't end with a snake.
Right,
and I got bloody excited to drive out there.
Yeah, big drive for no result.
But like every time I'm going up there, to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Finding a way to get up there to see. But that's the closest. So we don't, not really.
Okay.
Not
really.
And if we do get a python, it's either a dumped or escaped pet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I literally got a text before wanting an ID from a shed. And it was about in Two Wells, which is a real, used to be farmland, it's flat area, dry. And this lady sent me a message. She's like, I'll send you a photo of the shed. And she was standing up on a ladder and holding it up like that. The shed was about 2.8 or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, it's not a brown snake.
That's probably
showed us the head. And it was like, it would have been an escaped carpet.
Right, okay.
Sort of thing.
Yep.
But so you get the occasional that sort of stuff. But really,
browns and
browns, the odd red,
Yep.
the odd Delma every now and then.
Oh, yeah.
I probably catch 3 or 4 Delmas a season sort of thing.
Yep.
Seems to be a couple of spots where they really pop up.
Okay.
But, so when you get a red, you get excited.
I get
Are they like, is there creeks and rivers? Is that where you get the red bellies? Because they're pretty restricted.
Yeah, and that's the thing, I guess, too, because browns will come up for rodents and stuff, whereas, reds will go for, your frogs and that sort of thing. So they're happy normally where they are.
Yep.
And you just will get the odd one that will just come up, get a bit lost.
Yeah.
So,
It was interesting, sort of season just gone compared to the season before. Like season before, it was so dry. All the creeks and dams dried out.
Yes.
And like in March, I caught like 40 red bellies that were just going up,
They're just
looking
trying
for
to find
water.
water, right?
This year, I might have caught 2 in March.
Okay.
And again, all the rivers were still flowing, all the dams
Yes.
were still full, and it's just interesting to see that
The difference, right, okay.
difference because they don't need to move too
Yep.
far
Yep.
to get a feed because obviously they're eating frogs and stuff.
Yep.
It was just interesting to see
absolutely.
that change between a bit of rain and
Yep.
It is a good change because obviously the little bit of anxiety with like dealing with browns, even though we deal with like every call out, you're still going to be on your game all the time. So that can be mentally draining. So when someone calls up and says, "Oh, I got a red belly," or they send you a photo, like, "Yeah, it's a red belly," like just it drops down. It's still a level.
It's like, yes. And a bit of interest for you guys too. I suppose breaks the monotony of the browns.
Yeah.
Something different. They're a bit longer fuse on the tempest. And they're normally pretty chill.
Right.
Yep. I catch a few more red bellies because I'm in the sort of hills area,
right?
but
So a bit wetter and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
But again, compared to up here where you've got so many different species.
Well, I think as I said to you, the golden trees are daytime.
Yep.
Right. So they're a diurnal one. Normally the afternoon, in my experience, was when we would get northern browns.
Yeah. Okay.
But by 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, they're all gone.
Yeah.
You know, they've got out. They've had their active time of the day and they seek shelter. Slaty greys are probably the most common one of the night.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And then probably children's pythons, waters, olive. I only ever got a couple of black-headed pythons.
Yeah.
And then it is dubious maybe some of those might have been escapees.
Yeah.
Probably the most interesting I got years ago was actually an albino carpet snake.
Oh wow.
So as soon as Monday came, I actually rang Parks and Wildlife and I said, and it wasn't a baby.
Yeah.
It was 1.2 metres and they're still pretty rare. I said, I reckon this is escapee.
Yeah.
For it to get to that size.
Yeah.
So apparently they did check the records and couldn't find anybody that had one, so they actually kept it themselves as a display animal.
Yeah. Okay.
So, which was fair enough. But what else? A couple of Burton's legless lizards.
Yeah.
I got a call out but didn't find it. But the person personally took a picture of it. It was the smaller version of the bandies. We get 2 up here.
Yeah.
So we get the normal bandy and there's a northern bandy.
Yeah.
I think it's a common name. I don't know the scientific name off the top of my head now. But she had a picture of it, so I could identify what it was.
Yeah.
One of the last things up here that I got, I think I'd been doing it for nearly a year, was a banded brown tree snake.
Oh wow.
So I would have thought that it would have been one that I got fairly easily, but for some reason it just happened. It was probably more circumstances than anything else.
I thought you would have caught a few of them in your.
Yeah, well, I did later on.
Yeah.
But it was the one snake that, why have I
Just
never
took that
had a
long
call
to-
out for a banded brown tree? And it was in a cage and eating a budgie, so they couldn't get out. So that was probably helped too. Some of the other strange things, we had a couple of panoptes.
Yeah.
One Mitchell's water monitor, which are pretty rare now. A thorny devil.
Oh hell.
When I contacted Parks and Wildlife, I said, listen, somebody's had it and it's got out. There's no way it would be up here. So they actually then got on a plane and got it down to Alice Springs to get it released.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
still pretty healthy, but
Yeah, nice.
so yeah, that was probably the strangest thing.
Yeah.
That's out there.
Yeah, absolutely. There's quite a few keelbacks too.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, keelbacks were mainly daytime as well. The time I got them, but and lots of carpets.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Actually, one more story. Had a lady a bit south from here. She rang me up. I think she was a prison officer, and she just got home, and this carpet snake had grabbed a possum because a possum was just coming on the veranda and it had killed it.
Yeah.
And I got out there, and she said, "Oh, listen, yeah, I just might want to go. I'm sort of quite attached to the possums. That's fine." But I said, if I grab it now, it's going to throw the possum.
Yeah. I
said, what a waste.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here with this prison officer for the next 20 minutes while it finished its meal, and then took it. And we chatted about snakes and whatever else. So it was a great opportunity to.
Yeah.
Fortunately, there was no other calls, so
just take that time to educate as well.
I
While
mean,
exactly.
If she was attached to it, she probably want to see it get regurged either, I guess.
No, well, that's probably part of it too.
Yeah.
So,
and like you said, what a waste.
well, I've got this puked up possum that, exactly.
It's not going to eat it again after that.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So that was sort of a nice thing, and so some actually during the breeding time, sometimes I would go to a house and there'd be 2 carpet snakes.
Yeah.
So I don't know because I was just catching them. I wasn't sure whether it was combating males or whether it was a male and a female.
Yeah.
But yeah, so sometimes there'd be two snakes per call out.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, no.
Nice.
So,
it's sort of very. We do get breeding pairs back down south, not very commonly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where you'll go up and there'll be 2 brown snakes wrapped around each other.
Yes.
And they couldn't give a shit about anything until you go and tail
Exactly.
them. Yeah. So when you're dealing with venomous snakes, like brown snakes, for example,
Yep.
is your preferred method tailing?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Although we have to use the hoop bag as well.
Yes.
We've got to be.
Yep.
We're not allowed to. We weren't allowed. One of the standing operating procedures. We could not put ourselves in risk because we're always working by ourselves.
Yep.
So, but yeah.
But yeah, basically what we do down south.
Yes.
Like, I mean, if there's an opportunity, we can hook it or flick it into a bag.
That's what you try first.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard unless you've got a big open space and you can sort of predict movements and whatever.
Yeah.
It's very hard to get them to go into it
As
sometimes.
you know, quite often they're just trying to get away.
Exactly.
So like you're just going to go for the grab.
Yep.
And then you can use what we normally do is trying to get them into a spot with your hook maybe to get in a position to grab them.
Yeah.
And then you normally drop them in a little grab bag.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You guys been bitten at all?
No.
I did.
You did?
40 years as a zookeeper, never had a snake bite.
Yeah, right.
Okay. The one that got me was a banded brown tree snake. It was in these people's aviary. I hooked it out, got it out. It was a bit hard, but I'm up a ladder and I got it off, hooked it down and dropped it in the bag and headed out. And I started talking to them. I said, "Oh, do you mind can we have a look at it?" And I'm thinking, "Oh, yeah, I reckon we can do that." And I pulled it out and the bloody thing just bit me.
Did you?
And she said, "Do we need to get you to the hospital?" I said, "No, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good." I said, rare fanged. I said, even if it happened to get me with the venom, I might get it won't be as bad as even as a bee sting bite.
So did you react much to that or nah?
No.
Because again, like it's sort of pot luck if you get bitten by one of them.
Exactly.
How much you react to it.
That's true.
Because I've been bitten by one of them.
Yes, okay. Okay.
Nothing.
Oh, yes, I shouldn't.
Nothing medically significant.
That's I guess was the point. Yeah.
But the first time I got bitten, I was up here. I was herping and a little bit itchy, but that was about it.
Yep.
So there was obviously some reaction.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously didn't keel over anything.
It can't be that potent, mate, because they don't let go when they grab whatever they grab.
Yeah, that's it.
They know it's not very good.
Yeah.
I've got to get this down before it runs away. So.
Just keep chewing and get it down. So yeah, in your time as a snake catcher, say across a year, how many call outs do you reckon you did? Obviously you weren't doing it like full time, but is there a rough number?
I suppose on a busy weekend, maybe 12 call outs.
Yep.
Over from the Friday night to the Monday morning.
Yeah.
Right. But I remember sort of the figures. I think it's about 1,200 snakes that I don't know if it's still the same figures now, but when I was doing it per year, is what they catch and relocate.
Yeah, okay.
So, and with the relocation, any of the harmless species, we're supposed to relocate within a couple of kilometres of where they are.
Yep.
Which, as far as I was concerned, that's probably why they still were huge numbers in T, where you take them a couple of kilometres, they move back pretty quickly. And one way I've got of confirming how far a snake moves is we had a banded brown tree snake getting one of our bird aviaries at work.
Yep.
When I came there, they had 25 mil by 12 mil weld mesh, and they did have electric fences around, but that never worked. By the time I got there, they weren't working. So you've got wire that pretty much any banded tree would have just gone straight in. We bred these rainbow pitters. I don't know if you're familiar. It's a little ground bird. You know the ones we're talking about. And we had 3 chicks.
Yep.
Right. We come in one morning. We could only find 2. And we found the brown tree, which had a bulge in it. Okay? Now, so what we did is we actually caught it up. We took it to the northern boundary of the park. It's 1,000 acres territory wildlife park.
Yeah, it's a big,
most people
big
can't
place.
get in the back area unless you research, right? I took it to the back boundary and fed it out, which feeds into Berry Creek. It's almost tidal down there, right? And I fed it out through the fence, which was 1.6 kilometres as the crow flies, a direct line from where the aviary was. I thought, okay, that'll be fine. About 3 days later, another pitter disappeared. And there's another branded brown tree snake. And just looking at it, I'm thinking, this is very close to the same size as the one I released, right? So I took it up to the vet and I said, listen, we haven't got time to get ethics approval or whatever. Can we put a microchip in this, right? Because it could take a week to get approval to do that. Yeah. Let's just put a chip in it. I want to go and release it and just see whether that snake comes back because there's still 1 chick left in the aviary, right? So it was a bit of an experiment. I took it out. I fed it through the boundary. 3, 4, 5 days later, the last pit of chicks gone. Just in the middle of the monsoon forest. It's not like there was a path for it to follow. It knew through some inbuilt satellite navigation system that it knew exactly where to go, and the third pit had disappeared. I took it up to the vet, we scanned it, it had this chip in it. So it definitely did it twice. But more than likely, it actually made that trip 3 times.
Yeah, wow.
So then one of the other keepers lived out at Southport and he took it out and let it go there, and we never saw it back after that.
Yeah.
So there's obviously a distance that they can't find their back. But, you know, that just shows you the ability of snakes to find when there's a food source. They can find back to it.
Okay, easy food source for him, so he knew where he needed to go.
He just had a walk for 4 days.
Yeah.
5 days. So
Yeah, he would have worn the other two off by the time he got
that's
to-
true. I need another meal now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like you said, with the sort of harmless stuff, you release within a couple of kilometres
Yes.
typically.
Yep.
With the venomous stuff, how far would you typically take them?
We're under the guidelines. We've got to release them outside town boundary.
Yeah, okay.
So I would normally bring them out here.
Yeah.
So that's outside the city boundary.
Yeah.
We've got a big sand pit and swampy areas down the back here.
Yeah.
So I just normally just drive down there and just let them go. Down
Yeah,
there.
okay.
So I don't have any down there now, but so
yeah, we've had this conversation a few times with sort of how far you take snakes, depending on sort of how well they do after you take them.
Yep.
Unfortunately, there's not been too much research done into it.
Yep.
So, yeah. But again, a lot of the time within that sort of certain distance, they will typically try and find their way back.
It also depends on the situation the snake was there for. Like, if it was kind of obvious that it was probably just cruising through or something like that, you probably know it's probably mood. You can probably almost pick where it's come from.
Yeah.
Then if you're talking to them and they've seen it a number of times, they got chickens, they got birds or something.
It's hanging around.
There's a food source, whether it's the mice or whatever.
Yeah, you put a bit more effort into where you can take it.
Yes.
And we're 2 kilometres, within 2 kilometres.
That's what we work on.
For everything.
That's
For everything.
Yep.
So we try to
find a patch of virgin bush or something, and you try and if you've got access to
because
it.
we're not allowed to release within national park or SA water or anything like that either.
That should be the best places to release.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit.
There's leniences. But
lenient.
as long as we don't jump a fence,
Okay.
really.
Oh, sure.
So
Yeah.
putting it in one way, if the snake goes through the fence and you had no control over it.
Absolutely.
You
let it go on the verge, roadside verge. It went into the other area. There's not much I can do about that.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. But yes, those would be the ideal places to
Absolutely
to release them.
Less people, plenty of protected areas
Just
for them.
perfect habitat.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, with like us down there too, like we've said a few times that it takes longer to find a spot than it does for us to catch the snake half the time. I will sit on Google Maps for 20 minutes after
trying to find
the customer sometimes come up and like, you're right. Like, they're trying to find somewhere for the snake.
Yep.
And some areas easier than others to find spots. Some spots you get a call and you're just like,
it's like if I get it, where am I going to bloody take it?
If you're planning the rest of your trip, you want to get back to whatever else you're doing, so you're trying to get it sorted as quick as you can.
Again, particularly if it's a busy day, like October, November is our breeding season down south, so busiest time of year.
Yes.
You got mid-20s, sunny days. You might get 10 calls.
Lots of males looking for mates. And,
all that sort of stuff. And, you're doing one after the other. You end up with 5-6 brown snakes in the back of your car all in bags. It's like, now I've got to go release them all. Did you go there? Did you go there? Yeah. And you can't just, just go and dump them anywhere.
No, that's exactly right.
I don't know if it was the same up here, but we need to obviously do our records as well.
Yes.
So what you caught, where you caught it, where you release it, what time, date, all this sort of stuff. So same up here.
They do that too. Yep.
Yeah. Again, just so they've got a record of everything.
Yep.
Never used to be like that back in the day, like 30 years ago when it started. You just go and catch a snake and release it wherever you want.
Yep.
But you hear rumours of stories of old school catchers that would keep like 30 snakes at a time and then just all go release them in one area.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is obviously why it's more regulated nowadays.
Yeah, which people still hold on to that, like when they've heard that or something. So then they would pop up on our Facebook or social media and be like, "Oh, you guys just take them all to the same spot," or
okay, which is what everyone believes.
Yeah, and then everyone goes off that instead of like listening to us who actually
do it,
do what we do, and
there's reasons for it.
Yeah, and then but then people just listen to any
old crap.
Sort of thing.
Yeah. So to be a snake catcher up here, obviously you were a zookeeper before that. You had all the experience.
Yep.
Did you have to do any other training to do it, or did they just say, "Here's your contract, go for it"?
Yeah, no, that was pretty good. But I delivered snake handling courses at Territory Wildlife.
Oh, there you go then.
So that's it, because they wanted. I sort of couldn't work out quite the reason, because there's normally a couple of snake handlers or actually on staff there. But they gave the opportunity for everybody to come along and
do it if they wanted to.
Yeah. So but yes.
Yeah. Like again, very different down south. You need a course. You needed to go and do a certain number of call outs with a licensed catcher before you apply for your permit. You need your insurance, your first aid, and all this sort of stuff as well, which I'm sure that would be the same up here.
Yeah, because we, I guess we weren't contractors as such.
Yeah.
we were basically employed and paid by Parks and Wildlife Direct, so they covered the insurance.
Yeah,
for it.
okay. Yeah.
That was there. I think it was different after them because at one stage they contracted the whole one out to one person.
Yeah.
Right, and that was different.
Yeah, okay.
But it was also a lot of money for them too.
Yeah,
And then when
yeah,
it came
we've
up
heard
with
it's been a lot of money for them.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. But no, it's always good to get an insight into how differently things are run. Because again, down south, it's like our own business that we're running off our own back.
Yep.
It'd be nice if it was through parks or government or something
Well,
like
you
that.
have to worry about chasing the money, So
that's it. That's it. Another question I was going to ask you. So you were obviously based here while you were doing the snake catching.
Yep.
How far would you travel?
Okay, so they pretty much said Humpty Doo was about the limit because they said anybody out further than that lives on 20 acres.
Yep.
And the snakes are moving through all the time.
Yeah, okay.
Occasionally, or if I felt there was reason that I was in somebody's house, I have a phone call of a ranger that's on duty.
Yeah.
And I'd ring them and I would explain the situation and they would make the call on it.
Yeah, okay.
Whether I could go out, and then they would actually have to take any calls in town because I'm getting too far out of town to be able to respond to the town ones.
Yeah.
So there was a few things like that, but pretty much Darwin, Palmerston, and out to Humpty Doo was the range that we were required to provide service for.
Yeah. So if you got a call, you'd drive back into Darwin to do a.
That's where most of them were.
Yep.
More so than the rural area,
Yeah. Okay.
As I said, Tiwi, it was the amount of carpet snakes I caught in Tiwi and took down to Casuarina Coastal Reserve and let it go. Yeah. Which meant they probably went back there anyway, but that was the thing with within a kilometre or so where we catch them from.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I guess that's similar where we are. Like, a lot of it is around houses.
Yeah.
I mean, Ben Easter Browns too. Like,
yes.
It is,
yep.
Yeah, more often than not, around where people are.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess more eyes too, more people seeing things makes sense.
Oh, sure. But as I said, the venomous have to come out past me.
Okay.
So we can't let them go in town.
Yeah.
Anything that's highly venomous has to be released. Banned trees were fine. Yeah. But anything like the northern browns were the main one. Or
elapids.
Elapids, yes, exactly. So they would be here or further out outside the town boundary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you get many death outers out this way or?
Never.
Never? Yeah,
no,
okay.
I did see when I first moved up here out near Darwin River, I did a bit of road spotting and saw a few there. I don't know whether they're still there now.
Yeah, okay.
I've had a couple out near Fog Dam I've picked up in more recent times.
But not on call-outs?
No.
Yeah, okay.
Never one on call-out.
Yeah. Yeah, we went for a drive out Litchfield last night and we got a roadkill Rugosa, but that was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're obviously still moving around.
Yeah.
But
within a couple of kilometres, a roadkill Death Adder and a roadkill
Northern Brown. Yeah.
Oh, so that's our road cruising start. Ended all right, but
yeah, we got a few things last night, which was good.
Okay.
Yeah, nice big olive.
Nice.
Out on the road.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you get out and do much of that, or too busy with everything?
Listen, I'm really too busy. I mean, I love doing it at different times, and if ever get the chance, I do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things you take on too many things, you don't get a chance to go out, virtually.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. But yeah, I suppose you still do what you love. So
absolutely.
Yeah. No, I reckon unless you've got anything else for us, we'll.
Well, probably one other little story.
Yep.
There was a place in Palmerston that rang me. The dogs had bailed up a snake in his backyard. Anyway, so I went up there. It was keelback.
Yep.
Okay. So I would have brought it probably somewhere out this way and let it go, probably further than I was supposed to. But anyway, it was just finding a suitable place, as you know.
Yeah.
Next night, it's the same phone number rings me. He said, "Did you put that keelback in our yard again?" I said, "No, I can assure you that keelback never got back to your yard." So up I go again, get another keelback in his backyard. This happened 4 times. So I don't know whether a female in season had wandered and these were males that were following for some reason. I don't know, but there was 4 keelbacks in, I think it was 5 or 6 nights from this one place.
Yeah.
And the dog was bailing them up all the time.
Yeah, okay.
Unfortunately, it wasn't biting them. It would just bail and bark, and the guys would come out and pull the dog off and ring me.
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm making a bit avid coming to your place, aren't I?
Yeah, wow. For one of my first seasons, I went out to the same place 5 times.
Yes.
But that was across 5 months.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, not all in the same week.
Yes. Oh, well, yeah, exactly. It was phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah, like what else would it have been, I wonder?
That was my best. That was my best guess. With a
big female that was ready to go and
exactly.
a heap of males suspect it was thinking they were going to get some.
So keelbacks can certainly be in big colonies somewhere, but it wasn't a swamp; it was a suburban backyard.
Yeah.
So I couldn't make more sense of it. But
and you never caught any others after that?
Well, I didn't, but then other people could have got called out. So who knows? But it was just the nights I was on call. I couldn't believe it. Anyway.
Yeah, right. Always the way, though, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. But no, it's a great experience, and I think it's a really great service that Parks and Wildlife offered. for us to be able to go out. And the rangers must get sick of doing it every day, all day. You know, I think their work revolves around it.
Yeah.
You know, they've got to be on call all the time, so they don't get to do other wildlife-related duties that they should be doing, probably.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Do you know how many people are doing it at the moment?
No, I don't.
No. Yeah. I think Tom sort of said it was all just sort of done by the parks team
Yes.
now.
Yes,
But he wasn't sure what the number was either.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like it'd be when it's going, it'd be pretty busy.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I got through saying, but I think there's something like 1,200 snakes per season.
Yeah, okay.
Or per year.
And now,
Because it's all spread out all over the year.
yeah, obviously, others that you don't catch as well.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a few calls.
Absolutely.
Snakes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, right. No, I reckon we'll wrap it up there.
All right.
If we're all happy with that. Yeah.
Good.
Easy.
Good.
Well, yeah, and thanks for coming on and having
A pleasure, Brad.
had a bit of a
Nice to meet
chat. Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
No worries.
Coming on.
Yeah, and this is our second episode in Darwin now. There'll be more to come. We've got a few more to record. But thanks everyone for listening. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.